about that warning in which he basically said, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, the Republic is done?
Yeah, I think it's a continuation of the themes that really he ran for in the first place. When he talked about, I believe this election is about the soul of our nation in 2020, and talked about the opposing threat that the Republican Party under Donald Trump has to our republic. Again, they are led by a person who cozies up to authoritarian regimes, who uses them as role models, has these dictatorial impulses. If you aligned with Joe Biden in 2020 and the Democratic Party, what he said tonight is what you have believed this entire time.
But the Republic's done?
When you have someone who says he won't accept free and fair elections and tries to overturn the free will of the people, yeah, the Republic's done.
What did you hear from President Biden tonight?
I saw humility. I saw a person who is the Joe Biden we've known all along. He's a decent person. He's a person of character. And whether people like his policies or not, he's that person who came forward and said, I did this because I love this country more than I love the office itself. That's a very humbling kind of thing for anybody to do who's run for office and served. At the same time, I think he was also saying it's time to pass the torch. It's time for the next generation. And this obviously is no longer a bunch of two old guys, you know, one guy tired, one guy sort of crazy. Now you have one guy older for sure, and the other person is new and fresh and energetic.
Do you even focus on him at this point as Republicans? What is the thinking from Republicans? Because at the end of the day, right, he is the president. He's one of 46 of all time, but it's Kamala Harris's party now, is it not?
Wait, I just have to go back to something Kurt just said.
Go for it, all yours.
What day is it? What's today's date?
Wednesday.
Okay, I know, but what's the date? 23rd?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So
24th.
It's the 24th
of July.
Kurt just said the Republic would be done if Trump got elected. I will come on the show on the afternoon of January 20th with you guys, and I promise that when Donald Trump is sworn in, Kurt, the Republic will still be standing. Our institutions will hold, just as they did whenever Barack Obama was elected, whenever George Bush was elected. You know, you go throughout history, like our institutions have held and they will hold. And I think at a time when our rhetoric is so heightened, I'm joking about it, but I think our viewers should know the Republic will stand no matter if Harris or Trump are elected, assuming she's the nominee. She still has to officially clinch it, which it seems like she will. So what was the question before that, Blake? I just had to remind everyone the Republic's going to be okay, guys.
It stood out to me when he ended the speech that way.
Yeah.
As Republicans and trying to win a presidential race, do you even worry about what Joe Biden says from here on out, or is it just Harris, Harris, Harris?
No, I mean, they're not running against him anymore, right? Assuming that she's the nominee, they're running against her and whoever her running mate is. I don't know how much, you know, the VP helps on either side in any election, but ultimately this election's going to be about who the American people trust. Who do they trust to fix the economy? Who do they think will be better in dealing with the dictators and autocrats, as Kurt just talked about? I mean, listen, I think that's an important point about dealing with autocrats and dictators. I would argue, again, I represent Trump foreign policy, but I would argue that we had a much tougher stance against these people, and that's why we didn't have new wars in almost every single theater in the globe under our watch. So I actually do think that serious substantive debate is important. I hope that the two of them have multiple debates. I would love for 3, 4, 5. And Blake Berman, I hope you get a debate.
I hope so, too. We would love to do it. What'd you take out of the president tonight?
I took a couple of things away, but one of them was when he was talking about being forward-looking for the remainder of his term as president. He talked about Supreme Court reform.
Okay.
What does that mean for him? Because if it means stacking the Supreme Court, if we want to talk about dictators, that's a little play out of Venezuela. If we want to talk about the fact that when he talked about the Israel-Hamas war, he put it in the order where he said, end the Gaza war and bring home the hostages. Shouldn't the priority be bringing home the hostages, the American civilians who are still abroad at this point?
Are you playing with semantics there, or is that his position?
No, that was the way that he put it. He said, end the war in Gaza, bring home the hostages, as he listed things out. So I still have problems with the way that he is moving forward. And yes, while this is Kamala's campaign to run, she is still the vice president under these policies and under these positions. She's going to have to defend them, and she's going to have to try to run on maybe opposing policies, other policies, different. She's going to have to set her own course. This is not going to be easy for her.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.